Hi everyone. Uh, this is for my students of architecture. So others kind of can scroll down. Maybe you can hit a like. Yeah. All right. So you know, I had been practicing as an architect for the past 2 decades across India and abroad. With my hands-on experience in designing numerous projects, I have formulated some very basic strategies for my students of architecture. Well, let's discuss about EBD or evidence-based designing today. So, what's EBD? EBD or evidence-based designing is the process of constructing a building or a physical environment based on scientific research to achieve the best possible outcomes. It is particularly important for use in the field of architecture, of course, interior designing, landscape designing, facilities management, education, and city planning. Right? For architects, creating the buildings of tomorrow is an immense responsibility. Today, our schools, hospitals, our living spaces are supposed to provide optimal conditions that support health and productivity. But how can architects meet increasing demands while delivering environments for high-performing individuals and the overarching concern of human health and comfort? That's where EBD comes into play. So if you ask me, why is evidence-based design so important in our modern architecture? Modern architecture or the contemporary architecture that we have today. If you ask me, why is evidence-based design so very important in modern architecture? Evidence-based design, which implements modern research results on the well-being effects on humans into the creation of spaces, should be at the heart of your architecture. Design not for your fancy. Design not for your fancy, not for yourself, but for the well-being of the users. You have an obligation to look at the ideal, look at the long-term effects on the users for whom you are supposed to design. And when you're creating tomorrow's buildings, you're not creating a building for today, for the moment, you're building a future, for the times to come. For instance, looking at what elements in architecture improve learning in our buildings, keeps us healthier in life, right? As in maybe School of Architecture. Today, evidence-based design is gaining ground as the use of scientific evidence is turning into a powerful tool for architects across the globe. If applied at large scale, evidence-based design in architecture can overarchingly look at a huge untapped potential for societies in terms of increased productivity and reduced health costs. A study very recently, early in this year, done in France, for instance, sometimes in Jan or Feb, I guess, involving around 2,000 odd people across Europe. Students in classroom, when they were studied with larger windows, a classroom having larger windows and a higher percentage of south-facing windows and adequate daylight control, performed better. Those students actually performed better in their mathematical and their logical understanding skills. And how fascinating is that? I have published a very detailed article related to this particular topic. So go back to my page when you can and check it out sometime. Students of architecture can take a note of this. There are like 4 different components of EBD. Firstly, gather qualitative and quantitative intelligence or data. Number 2 is map the strategic, cultural, and research goals. Right? Number 3, hypothesize the outcomes, innovate and implement in a translational design process. And final number 4 is measure and share the outcomes. You know, we architects, we have the responsibility. You know, as architects, we have the responsibility in translating the research in this particular field and in its application of uniform designs. The conceptual model which architects could use has like 4 levels of addressing research and methods based on varying levels of commitment. Students can take a note, of course. Level 1, 2, 3 and 4. You know, level 1 talks about the informed design decisions. Level 2 talks about design decision and based on the predictive performance. Level 3 about the results reporting publicly, and level 4 about publishing. So if we're talking about level 1, it's about informed design decision based on available literature on environmental research based on the applicability, such as the use of state-of-the-art technology or strategy based on the physical and setting of particular project. In level 2, when you're talking about design decisions based on a predictive performance and measurable outcomes, we're talking about rather than the subjective decisions based on the random choice. I mean, we talk more on the subjective decisions based on random choice. Right? When you're talking about level 3, results reported publicly, you know, it should be with the objective of moving information on the methods and results, moving information beyond the design team, yeah, for peer review maybe, making the process more robust, as it could include varying perspectives of those who may or may not agree with the findings. You know, so there is a peer review and a cross check, and double checking confirms the result. Right? About level 4, it's about publishing the findings in a peer reviewed journals, collaborating with academics and also the industrialists and social scientists. Right. Having said all of that, you know, I strongly believe that there's a lot to learn, and an architect is always and will always be a student, constantly learning. Let's start discussing your thoughts on this particular topic. Let me know your views. Comment in the box below. I'll get back to you. See you.